area of mental health that is stigmatized, and it is not looked at fully because we have Disability Act, and our honorable colleague was speaking to our deputy minister who was approved today about revamping the Disability Act. But I've only heard one of my honorable members highlighted that our Mental Health Act needs to be urgently looked at. It is outdated, it is discriminatory, and it is of the 19th century. And we are in the 21st century. And we live in a country that have had severe crises and trauma events, from civil war, Ebola, mudslides. Most of Sierra Leoneans are living with this trauma. And we are talking about the drug use, but nobody has thought about the underlying issues of the significant increase of our drug use in this country. We've had civil wars, and that has happened, it was probably 20 years going now. We've had Ebola. People have lost their lives, people have lost family members, they are traumatized. And sometimes people use drugs to self-medicate. So while we're looking at legal framework to stop the drugs coming in, I want to ask and appeal to this that we really look at the rehabilitation areas and an active campaign in terms of policies for the drug use. People who are suffering from it. You cannot just tell someone to stop drugs. Addiction is a condition and is a problem. There are various ways people are addicted to things. And I think psychologically, we need to be able to find a way how to help these people who are going through this. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, His Excellency in his speech talked about having every school-going children to have access to healthcare. Now, we have, at the moment, His Excellency has done very well for us in the healthcare, where he's recruited over 5,000 health workers. We have about probably 10,200 something schools, both primary and secondary. And if His Excellency is hoping that we have every school-going children to have access to healthcare, we need to recruit more nurses and each to be assigned to schools. School nurses are vital. It minimizes the hospital going and young people would have access to health. That is one of my requests. He also talked about emergency services. Now, we are living in a country and we have quite a lot of road traffic accidents. Emergency services are good, but we need to think about the highways. I am thinking and suggesting and putting this to His Excellency. Let's think about hubs, accident crisis hubs in the highways. It will save lives. We do not, by the time you think about it, if we have fatal accidents in the Kenema Ball Highway, by the time somebody will move you out of your car, it is not the accident that kills you. It is actually the traumas that your body goes through before you get to the hospital. So we need to think about that. While His Excellency is thinking about having increased accident and emergency services, I will recommend that he thinks about the main highway roads, to have accident emergency hubs with trained nurses, nurse-led sometimes, but in the middle where it will be a 30-mile range from the point to hospital. And this will also help the communities around that area. We're saying access to affordable, quality healthcare. These are things we should recommend to His Excellency to add, and it will help us, because every one of us do use the highway to travel to our chiefdoms, and some people do drive fast, and we've had a large level of road traffic accidents, and it will save lives. And so His Excellency needs to really think about that for us. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I would like to thank everyone for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the Honorable Lady for a very brilliant suggestion. It's rather unfortunate, I don't know how it came about, that on this particular occasion we do not have senior civil servants in attendance from the MDA. That used to be routine for the bits of this lady. Be in attendance to take notes and to listen to the various suggestions coming from members of Parliament. Just as we've heard from the Honorable Lady, I would have liked to see an official from the Ministry of Health take down notes for the attention of the Minister. That hasn't happened. I don't know what happened. I mean, I was indisposed when this debate started. Unfortunately, I would have insisted on that. We cannot all just be absent like that. I also noticed the leadership role is empty. Does anyone know the reasons why we are not seeing?
Let me check with the office.
No. The primary question is why aren't there officials from the ministry in attendance? Okay, I will reserve it until I see one of them come in. But that's normally routine. They should be here to take down notes for the attention of the ministers.
If I may, from what I heard in the world the other day, when we started, Deputy Speaker did request for that. There was an excuse given that we were on a workshop or conference in Bintumandi with the President for 2 days. That was on a Monday and Tuesday, I believe.
All the directors?
All the directors?
No.
The ministry?
Just that it was a conference for ministers and deputy ministers, I believe.
Yes.
But then that was from Monday and Tuesday. So
no.
You have to tell us why Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's nothing.
I can very well understand for the ministers, for the deputies, but I cannot understand if I look around and see no director, no civil servant at director level, right through this debate.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Yes, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, in my own opinion, I think that
I want facts. Opinions are free. Facts are secret.
But thank God the other day you said everybody has right to his or her opinion.
Opinions are free. I have so many of them myself.
Okay, facts.
How fat is your
Give me
facts?
facts.
Facts, yes, because In your absence, Mr. Speaker, we requested their presence here. So to me, they have no respect to, for the parliament, because on Wednesday, I also raised that particular point for them to be here. Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, it is with your leadership to make sure, yes, whatever we say here have some amount of authority, so that they'll be able to know that this is not a parliament that you can joke with, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Okay, your point is well taken. I will look into this.
And there was a ruling, Mr. Speaker, by the way. There was a ruling, the Honorable Deputy Speaker ruled that all directors or representatives from the respective institutions should come the other day. And the clerk can confirm that. There was a ruling on that.
None of them showed up.
I'll reserve that question for the leaders. May I now give the floor to the Honorable Umu Pine.
Thank you.
Is she here?
Yeah.
Okay, you have the floor. 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to add my voice to the motion of thanks to the address that our President graciously delivered to this House on the 3rd August. I want to thank the President for the legislation that he achieved, most of the critical bills that he achieved in his past 5 years, like the GB Act of 2022, sorry. That was a good one for this House and for the President. I want to actually acknowledge the remarkable stride that SFP government took during the last 5 years to give the limelight on Gender Equality and Women Empowerment Act through agriculture. During the last 5 years, women were actually focused on in agriculture. NACSA, the National Commission for Social Action, was given the task to actually look at farmers who were women, especially in the Ribi Chiefdom. About 80% of women were actually gained. They were monitored, evaluated, and then they gained most of the agricultural facilities that they should gain. Despite our Ministry of Agriculture, that I presume planned very much on paper instead of implementing out in the field. NACSA embarked on giving women leadership role. We had master farmers who were women. Women were given credit. And then in the Ribi Chiefdom, we have about 15,000 hectares bony land and about 10,000 IVS. NACSA did not actually till all of those lands for the women because of they didn't have machinery. But what they were able to do, they did it. 1,500 women in the Ribi Chiefdom actually embarked on agriculture, and that was because of NACSA. The Women Empowerment Bill actually have given 30% of women in the rural areas. I don't know for the other districts actually, but in the Moyamba district, as I said, in the Ribi Chiefdom, to embark on farming. So the Feed Salon program is not actually strange to us there, and the president actually took a good initiative to talk about Feed Salon program when we in the Ribi Chiefdom have actually started embarking on that. The 5 initiatives that President spoke about, and which is the Feed Salon program is the first one. I want to say to this house that we have been on it since the first term of this government. And when it comes to the agriculture, we have a system wherein our farmers have a middleman instead of meeting the agriculture office itself, which is a service provider. And I want to say to this house, the service provider, we have one service provider in each district, I presume. And like for our district, we have one service provider there that he is not easy actually to contact. He has all of the machineries. And whenever you want something from them, they refer you to their office. And when you go there, it's nothing to write home about. So I want to actually say, if our government want to feed salon, we should depend on like NACSA. If we depend on agriculture, the agriculture office itself, the ministry itself, I think we will not be able to feed salon. I have an example here where we have 20 tractors given to Moyamba district. When we needed the tractor, mostly at that time, we never got the tractor because the operator himself refused to go and take the tractor. Why? Because he said he was not paid. So I want us in this house to actually look at, especially the oversight committee that are with agriculture, to follow the system of agriculture, how they implement their work. They are not time bound. If farming starts in February, they cannot give you seedlings until after 2 months. How can we plant? When we want machinery to go and till our land, the bony land, until it rains and water takes over the whole place before you can get the machineries. In one of my area in my constituency, when we applied for this for tractor, we never got it until water took that area. So I am standing here this afternoon to actually plead with my my honorable members to let us actually focus on the timeline of agriculture in our areas. Honorable members, Mr. Speaker, I really want to say again, as I've spoken about NACSA, that NACSA did not only give focus on women and what they should do, but they also focus on the feeder roads. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, because they know that they've given money, they've monitored and evaluated, and they wanted these materials to come to Freetown. They embarked on repairing 10 kilometers of road at the Ribi Chiefdom, so that the products can come to Freetown easily or Waterloo. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to say here that when we have embarked on women because of gender equality and women empowerment, we can feed salon, but we have to do that. I just want to, in conclusion, I stand before you today to wholeheartedly support the President's address and the achievements of the SLPP government in promoting gender equality and women's empowerment within the agriculture sector through initiatives like Feed Saloon. As a member of Parliament, I am proud to be part of a government that recognizes the pivotal role that women play in the nation's progress and is dedicated to creating opportunities that uplift the citizens. Together, we shall continue this journey towards a more inclusive and prosperous Sierra Leone.
I thank the Honorable Lady for her contribution, very incisive, and insightful. She reminds me of my day as Agriculture Minister. And though I will be announcing very shortly the membership of the sessional committees before we close today, maybe what the lady before her said should be noted by the health committee, and also what the Honorable Umu has just said should equally be noted by the Agriculture Committee. And thankfully, agriculture is presently the flagship project of His Excellency the President. I just want to endorse what she said for the edification of all of us, so that when we divide it up into committees, we'll bear some of these points in mind. One lesson I took away from the Ministry of Agriculture in the 80s was government is certainly not a good producer of food. I don't know whether government is a producer of anything, in fact. You can create the environment. We can create the framework, legislative, administrative, otherwise. But to actually dabble with the actual process of production, government is certainly not a good candidate for that. And what she said reminds me of what the tractor operators used to do. Exactly. People will come, farmers will come to the ministry or the sub-offices, pay for plowing, and they will never get the tractors. And after I learned that bitter lesson in my first year, in my second year, I'll tell you what I did. I privatized all the tractors. Gave the tractors directly to the farmers. Encouraged farmers to form themselves into groups and cooperatives and take control of the tractors. And the moment you do that, of course you're going to offend the officialdom, but you're going to create an atmosphere of improving productivity. Because there is no farmer who would buy a tractor and let it lie fallow. No way. Or a group of them contributing towards the purchase of a tractor will never allow that tractor to lie fallow. They will make use of it to produce. Because their livelihood depends on it, their profitability depends on it. So I think the Agriculture Committee should begin to take note of some of the points that honorable members are making, so that during oversight, they can actually use that to question the validity of some of the policies that are being implemented. We should encourage our farmers to take ownership, direct ownership of the inputs, be they machinery, fertilizers, or seeds. And we'll see the difference in productivity. You leave it in the hands of government employees, forget it. It will not happen. Let me now give the floor to Honorable Habib Farber.
He declined.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me start by extending my sincere appreciation to HE, the President, for his concise, succinct, and well-loaded address given in a jiffy on the occasion of the state opening of the sixth Parliament of the Second Republic in the chamber of the Parliament building.
Is your neighbor Honorable Macrae? You are directed to take 2 seats to your right. Take 2 seats to your right. Don't distract the honorable members. Don't distract the honorable members.
Being in respect of time, I will be very brief. I'll be very brief. As a result of that, I will go down straight to the 5 game changers. The peace alone, the human capacity, capital development, youth empowerment, enhancing public service, architecture, technology, and infrastructure initiative. Basically, this manifesto promises, or I look at them as the government's strategic direction.
All of them are talking
As a national program of which the President's initiative.
And few of them for now. We only have a few hours to go. By the time they return, they will see where they will be seated.
To tackle the food importation dependency, food production and food sufficiency through agriculture tackles in the country. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I saw the 5 game changers. Particularly with absolute certainty, reason being that our president is accredited for doing what is in job. Being more or less is a talking to the president. Basically, can envisage the direction the president is taking this country to, based on his priorities. Mr. Speaker, may I get your attention? Basically, we are seeing that we are moving in the right direction. Mr. Speaker, any government that takes the step in the direction as planned by each president is planned to move the country from the quagmire of underdevelopment. It is crystal clear that our priorities
Keep doing
are
it.
set
I'm
right.
watching every one of you. And the time you come back from recess, you'll wonder what happened to your city. Carry on.
If we are talking about going forward as a nation, I think youth empowerment is not only limited to creating hope for youth, but even assuring the nation of permanent security and stability. For the human capital development. Basically, if we are trying to catch up with the skills for the 21st century, I think the allocation government has placed and the policies which governments have put in place for this, I can say the strategic plans. It's really clear, crystal clear that we are moving in a direction where we see this country one day in a situation which we are all yearning for.
Wonderful. On that note,
Mr. Speaker, I thank you so much for the opportunity granted to add my voice to the presidential speech. Thank you so much.
very good. I will now give the floor to the Western area.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That's my leader. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable member, Mr. Speaker, we want to thank the President for the level of speech given to this House. We do believe it's a President that's determined to deliver this nation. Whenever you sit and dine with the President, you will know it's a person that has a heart for this nation. It's a President. He is a president that wants Sierra Leone to be like any other state, even like the US America. And even like the UK. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, as we talk about infrastructure, if we can talk about infrastructure, we did not mention the West Urban or the rural, we did not say anything in this House. Mr. Speaker and honorable member, when you look at the past 5 years, what the president has done within the Western Urban, you will know is the president that he did not have a district limitation. He look at beyond what we think at. He did not look at like our past regime, they only look at McKinney. Our president look beyond McKinney. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, if you look at the road from Sussex, Bobo to Toke, you know that this president is a president that's ready to deliver. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, when you look at infrastructure, You talk about Western Urban, what the president has done, you know that this president is a president that means what he says. When you look at the Arab in my constituency at that time, or Western Urban, you look at the Arab you know that the president that came to Mr. Speaker and honorable members, when you look at the work of our president, not even our president, but our first lady, you look at the 34 minutes. You know that the president is a president that is determined and ready to work. You look at the 34 hospital at that time, you know, this hospital is nothing to talk about at that time. But when you look at the hospital now, the 34 hospital, you know that our first lady is determined for this nation. It's the first lady that's ready to deliver this nation. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, our president is a president that is ready to deliver this nation. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, we talk about education. Our president is really determined to transform the life of the youth. In my constituency, the Western Urban, last 5 years, there are 350 young men and women that they give scholarship to go and study to the AFEC institution. And these young people, there's a transformation that most of them have been made, like in terms of refrigerator, construction of house, electricity. Those are the things that have been impacted into those people. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, our government is not a government that believes giving drugs to young people to destroy their life. Our government is a government that determined to transform the life of people. Our government is a government that is ready to see that the life of the youth to transform like some of us. When you look at our president, he has a decent family. He has a family that is ready. Mr. Speaker, are you with me?
I'm not only with you, but I just want you to know you've exhausted your fire.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I'm calling on all my, as I was saying, our president is a president that is ready to transform the life of the youth. So I'm calling on my MPs, even the police, as we are going to reset. I'm calling on us at least to serve us, we can engage our ghetto boys, our star boys, to serve us, we can talk to them to avoid this particular thing that we call push, that is destroying the life of our people. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity that you give me. Sometimes it's not so much about what I believe that I'm a good boy for you. But that's what I want to thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I will now give the floor to the honorable gentleman in blue. And my last speaker for today, before we wind up, will be the member from Daru.
Sorry, sir. Mr. Speaker, please. I want to observe something because during lunchtime, few of my female colleagues are being disadvantaged, perhaps because of the position. Please allow me to please. They are being disadvantaged because of the position. They are at the back. No, I want to bring to attention, sir, please. Because initially, you started with the list, sir. And later on, you said you are not going to list because that's what the standing order was the constitution. There is a lady at the back, Honorable Juliana. She met me and she wanted to, at least, if not to make a speech, but make a small contribution to us. I'm pleading on her behalf.
Can she identify herself, please?
She's at the back.
Are you sure Madam has never spoken? I can remember your face. So to say you've not had your baby speech, I think it's not quite. As people will say, being economical with the truth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Jibril Asomwe here from Bobby Street. Honorable members, colleagues, please.
Order.
Mr. Speaker, I want to start by registering my thanks and appreciation to His Excellency the President, retired Brigadier Dr. Julius Malabiu, for his speech that we are today debating. When you look at that speech, the President catered for not only the 5 big changes, but he was able to discuss the way forward for us to have peace in this country, for which I admire him so much. As a peace and development practitioner, there is no way we have a sustained development if we are not at peace. That is one big thing as members of parliament today from the Sierra Leone People's Party. We must be very grateful that we have a very reasonable and considerate president. I watched a video where somebody can say when SNPP boycotted the parliament sometimes in history, and the APC were dancing and jubilating in this town. Today, it is our business as Sierra Leone People's Party to ensure our brothers come to take their seat and we have a full composition of this house so that we have a better Sierra Leone. And if that is the president we have, that we are not concerned about what people will say, but for us to go ahead to develop this country, we need a space for us to dialogue. During the campaign, 3 big things people consider as a challenge. 1, the price of fuel, the price of food, and the dollar, the inflation. And if today we are talking about the 5 big changes, and the 5th salon is a flagship project, meaning it is one of the biggest of the 3 things that people consider as a challenge. And if that is so, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, then I want to assure this House that if we can feed Sierra Leone, then we have the right path to a sustained prosperity as it is stated in paragraph 15 of His Excellency's speech. But the question is, how do we feed Sierra Leone? I have carefully listened to my colleague debaters here, my colleague members of parliament. We have been talking about supporting farmers with seedlings, fertilizers, and the rest. But I ask myself this question: is it not the same model we have been practicing all these years? The community we can consider today that is highly engaged in agriculture, you go there today, the same way they are selling the cup of rice is the same way we are selling the cup of rice in Freetown here. Meaning we need a model that is different from the subsistence farming. And from your speech just now, when we were talking about where the government cannot be the better producer of food, I will agree, but I would say we possibly can need to develop policies where we need a centralized farming mechanism wherein we can use that as a complement to the subsistence farming our people are doing. My community I'm coming from, they do not know any other activity rather than agriculture. But yet we are still buying rice, we are struggling with the prices. If you go back to reports, statistics, they can tell you that the merchandise imports, 32% of that is food commodity alone. And as it stands, we are talking about $200 million of import bill of rice alone.
No, but surely you can't get rid of subsistence farming. That is why I think the president in his speech has made it quite clear that you need now to graduate and elevate farming into an industry.
Okay, so that is exactly what I'm saying. We are complementing what they are doing. Now let us look at the Tomabone rice farming we are talking about here. In history, we have that particular structure feeding this country. At some point, feeding boarding schools, prisons, and today we have up to about 92,000 hectares of land, and we are not investing in that part of this country. Somebody was talking about feeder roads, linkages to our products. Somebody can now drive from Bo to Tomabone, and I'll assure you, when you go there once, you don't want to return there again. We have 82-kilometer road from Koribodo to Mano Koriganya. And if we cannot construct or rehabilitate those roads, how then can we even concentrate on establishing the agricultural activities in that part of the country? And therefore, I am saying that we must intensify the mechanized farming system. Let us inject some of the monies that we will be appropriating here for the Ministry of Agriculture to have a system where the only way we can feed this country, like we're saying, is when we can produce rice that we can sell at a low cost that everybody here can afford. But if we are still talking about supporting farmers, and by the time the year rounds, the rice that is produced cannot feed even the communities they are producing, then we are still not feeding this country. I will now go to where we talk about youth empowerment program. Youth empowerment program is something that is very key. And if we must achieve that, then it has to go with programs designed to be involved, as we are talking about green jobs, the agricultural sector we are saying. Over the years, somebody would say, Yala University produces agricultural students or agriculturists, but they do not even have a university farm because some of the courses designed for us to undertake are not matching with today's industry's demand. And if that is so, we are talking about having a system where we can introduce a mid-manpower capacity training that will fit in today's demand in terms of the agriculture we are talking about, in terms of technology. You now go to social media, you see the youth, the monies they are, the millions of dollars they are making using the social media. In Sierra Leone, what are we doing? Except we are using WhatsApp, Facebook. When you go to schools today, you look at social media, they are comparing the kind of education we have in Africa and Western culture. Because we are not exposed to the technologies the world is presently surviving on. And if that is so, we can say to this house, and the MDAs, like you were talking about, they are not here today, let us see how we can redesign. For example, schools, secondary school, in some of the communities that we are coming from, we need to have, for example, a computer lab. From that stage, from the early stage of their growth, they can discover the potential that the world is driving at. But if we cannot do that, we still talk about the old system, then we are not making progress. The gender, in this context, now I will summarize on this one. Over the years, the problem we have with gender inclusion is as a result, women coming into the mainstream, they are evicting men who are surviving there already. By nature, last year, for example, when the Gini Bill was passed, some MPs could not return here, male MPs could not return because some districts needed to have female MPs. And if that is so, today we are saying the 500,000 job in the youth empowerment scheme. Let us see how best we can start practicing the equity so that the women who have been at the back for long will now start to have a system where they can come to the same quota as men. But the one existing already, if we say we are going to impose the gender empowerment from that direction, then most men will be disadvantaged. And I tell you, it will face a very different challenge. Thank you so much.
You're riding the bill as a result?
No, I am recommending that, a very good example. Yes, I am recommending that the buffer we have now, the 500,000 jobs, let us practice equity in that direction. As most jobs occupied by men, we cannot evict them. But as we are planning in the next 5 years to roll out the 500,000 jobs, let us see how best we can concentrate more on giving the jobs to women so that they can come to the radar as the men have been over the years. That is my submission. Thank you so much.
I will now give the floor to the honorable member from Daru.
Mr. Speaker, substantially. Mr. Speaker. Mr.
You want the man on crutches? He's already shown you the bandit.
There is nothing wrong with him. It's okay. Mr. Speaker,
It's a game.
Mr. Speaker, he's deceiving his house. Mr. Speaker, the honorable member is deceiving his house.
After we are done, any one of you can become a surgeon. And
There is nothing wrong with that. It's a bad precedent, Mr. Speaker.
It is.
Bad precedent. I will come tomorrow. My house is calling.
By thanking or appreciating the president for giving himself 7 days to serving this nation. I also want to thank him for ruling this country beyond colors, beyond party lines, beyond regionalism, beyond whatever discriminating factors. I want to appreciate him for that. I also want to thank him for taking his time to put this fine document together, which dictates the pathway for the next 5 years. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, it is no secret that as a country,
Just to cover up his presence.
Mr. Speaker, it reminds me of Honorable Abel Scott during the days of being commander. That was exactly how you see them. That's the question the Speaker used to ask.
No, but it's a precedent, by the way.
Bad precedent.
It's a
I
precedent.
hope the bandage is not round your waist as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Again, it is no secret that as a country we face numerous challenges. It is no secret that as a country we face numerous challenges, Mr. Speaker. But again, let me reassure this House that these challenges became worsened as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic that affected us as a country, and secondly, the ongoing global crisis between Russia and Ukraine. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, most of the members of this House, preferably members on the other side, are of the opinion that the global crisis has no effect on the current situation we face as a country. But let me say this, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. Even countries that are developed are being affected by this global crisis between Russia and Ukraine. Not to talk of creeping nations like Sierra Leone. And had it not been for the prompt intervention of the president, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we would have been facing more demeaning situations than the one we are in. But as a result of the deliberate actions of our president, the president was able to intervene, to push in the rash effects that would have affected us as a country. So I appreciate him as a president, and I see him as a president who is deliberate in whatever he wants to achieve as a president. And he has succeeded in ruling beyond all negative factors amidst all other step gallops that we have created artificially by our brothers on the other side. Deliberately, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we saw in his last administration that deliberate efforts were made by individuals just to disrupt his governance. But he was so smart not to focus on those distractions. He was so smart to focus on the goal and to achieve what he promised the people of Sierra Leone. And today we are a proud nation that the president was able to achieve his promises to this country. The list of numerous challenges we face as a country are numerous. It's a daunting list, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. But again, as members have re-emphasized over and over again, I have every reason to be confident that with the president we have, and as a people, as a country, we shall overcome these challenges. Or better still, we'll be able to minimize these challenges one by one and together. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, if you look at the speech provided to us by Mr. President, you realize he summarized his focus. He summarized his focus so much that as a parliament, we were able to guide the ministers. But it's unfortunate the MPs are not here to listen to some of these recommendations we are going to proffer. And again, that discourages us as parliamentarians. It appears as if we just talk to ourselves. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me quickly rush to this whole flagship project of feeding. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, before I go to the speech proper, let me give us some statistics about what we face as a country. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as a country, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we have a situation, agriculture contributes about 60% of our GDP. And two-thirds of members engaged in productivity are from the agriculture sector. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, if you check the statistics, we have 5.6 million hectares of land very viable for agriculture in this country. 5.1 million hectares. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, that shows we have enough land for agriculture. That shows we have enough land. And if you look at the natural tendencies that we have as a country, that shows the president's ambition for us to feed ourselves in the next 5 years is possible. Because this is a country that has enough rainfall, which is also good for agriculture. And we have so many rivers supporting the cause of agriculture. So much irrigation. And it is discouraging to know that 80% of what we consume as a country is from import. We import our consumption, which is so the more reason why we must embark on this Salon project.
Wonderful.
But again, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me just hasten to say, if you look at this document, it actually states that the president is very much passionate for us to be able to feed ourselves. What is that he has given us is a framework. And I believe for the agriculture ministry to succeed with whatever ambitions or aspirations we have, certain factors must be taken into consideration. There must be what we call partnership between and amongst MBAs. There is no way we succeed without making the transport ministry efficient. Because we need enough transportation to transport raw materials from the production center to the market. And for you to say you are successful in terms of feeding yourself as a nation, 3 factors are important. 1, you must be able to produce. 2, utilization of those products. 3, availability and access. If those factors are not present, forget it. You will not be able to feed the country. And that is why, on that note, Mr. Speaker, I believe there is so much effort needed for us to succeed as a nation. And the more reason the minister has to negotiate or partner with other MBAs like the energy sector within electricity. And thank God to the current minister, he's been able to give us some adequate amount of electricity that will support whatever strides that we want to achieve as a country. And finally, to conclude, Mr. Speaker, if you briefly look at the youth sector, let me just conclude on this. If you look at paragraph 35 and 36, page 6, if you look at paragraph 35 and 36, page 6 of his speech, you realize it shows that the president is very much aware of what is going on with the young people in this country. Because if you go through paragraph 35, it states that young people in the Western urban are neither in the universities, nor school going, and not engaged in any productive work service. And that shows the president knows. And if you go to page 37, I mean paragraph 37, you realize that again, some of the reasons, responsible for this brain drain of young people coming from the rural settings, coming to over settings, is because there are not facilities for young people. Mr. Speaker,
On that note, you've exhausted your time.
So, in conclusion, Mr. Speaker,
No.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And before I take my
The last speaker on my list. Before we wind up, is the Honorable Sakotu Momodu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I was looking forward to this moment. I've been here for like a month now. I've been standing, but finally today you have catch me. I thank you very much for that. Mr. Speaker and Honorable Member, I want to say thank you to His Excellency the President for his flagship program, which is Fit Sierra Leone. And also, I bring greeting from Kono. I am Honorable Sakotu Momodu, that is one of the honorable representing Kono District. Yeah. Let me go straight to the speech. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Member, the President, he has done so much for this country, and we have to say thank you to him, especially for we the Konos. I remember 2018 when the flagship program was education, and Kono, from that time, from 2018, our president is the first president that said Kono have gone through injustice in terms of education, which means, and it has helped us a lot on that, because before then, it helped us 2018 to now. We have the university, Science University and Technology going on right now in the district, which we thank His Excellency for that. And also, now we have the flagship program, which is Fit Sierra Leone. And if we are talking about Fit Sierra Leone, Kono has been one of the basket breadwinner of this country. And so, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I have to focus my debate on Kono. Why I'm focusing my debate on Kono? If Kono has been the bread basket, part of the bread basket for this country, then also when we are talking about agriculture, we have to think about Kono. Mr. Speaker, honorable member, I have my recommendations. The recommendation I want to make to this House is inclusiveness. We have to include everybody in to make sure the president succeeds in this 5th Sierra Leone. How? I'll lay my foundation because, Mr. Speaker, honorable member, I'm a graduate from an architectural interior, which means I cannot talk without talking about foundation. My foundation here is for we to include everybody in. For example, like we have to call in the district chairmen in all the districts, Kono, Kenema, Kailaon, you name them. We have to call them and engage them because that will make sure, that will help us for the president to succeed in this program. And also, we have to make sure we include the MPs in this flagship program, which is a 5th Sierra Leone. For example, we the MP, our people are looking so much to us for deliver. Deliver in the sense, for example, or let me make foundation because I cannot talk without a foundation. They are looking for us to deliver. How can we deliver to our people? When we are campaigning, we talk about these things. Like I said, now we are going to 2023 election, and the president promised us that we have abundant food in this country. That's one of the promises we give to our people. And now,
point of order. Just a point of order. I do not remember any platform that the president said is going to get food and the abundance. I mean, the president did mention in 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22 about agricultural productivity, talking about food security. But in none of his speech, he said, I am going to provide abundant food for our people. So we need to put the record straight. And it is coming from the government bench. That's why I'm concerned, Mr. Speaker. So I want him, if he's quoting the president, let him make reference on clear documents so that we can understand that at this point in time, the president did make a statement like that. But if he has made a promise during his campaign, let him say so. Say, when I was campaigning, I made a promise to my people that give abundant food. So it's for the record, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
I know, like all other new members, they're all going through the learning curve. But when you are attributing statements to anyone, both in the House and out of the House, please make sure you do so accurately.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I understand. The only thing I want to say here, we campaign that we make sure our people, I campaign that to make sure our people are going to find it. And also, why am I saying that? We are talking to the, I want to appeal to the Ministry of Agriculture to help us, the MPs, because that will help us to minimize our responsibility, because our people are looking forward to us for development. And if we impact on that, at least we have like a tools to work. Our people have those tools to work. I think that will help us greatly. For example, we need to have the tractors, and then help us, the MP, to have tractors, so we'll be able to help our people. Because why am I'm emphasizing on the MPs? Because we all know MPs, we are not responsible for development. But the mindset of our communities, they are thinking that MP has all the riches and MP is supposed to be part of development. And most of them, they are looking forward to help them. And also, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, okay. On this note, I want to say thank you to His Excellency for all the Kono people, and we are so grateful. Thank you.
I thank all the honorable members. floor to the acting leader.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I am going to make my contribution very short but rich in content. Mr. Speaker, when His Excellency entered this hall, this parliament, sat over there to deliver what we call State of the Union Address. It surprises many states of the nation, as we call it again, State of the Union Address. It surprises many people. It was short, but to the point. Many of us were expecting the president to come here to catalog all what he had done. As usual, we're here to clap. But he has not done that. Instead, the president, among many things, he anchored his speech on reconciliation. On reconciliation. So that's where I am going to anchor today. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the president on page 55, 56, 57, paragraph 55, 56, 57, 58, and 59. And 59, he emphasized the point of reconciliation. And I have to say this, and I have to commend Honorable Ibrahim Conte. What's the area? The two honorables of Western area, for their patriotic speech this afternoon. They spoke here like true nationals of this country. And that is what the president called for. If we want to talk about reconciliation, we have to start here in this way. In this way, the speeches we make has a long way to go. That is why, when the honorable member of honor spoke here this afternoon, he started to catalog all what the APC did wrong to this country. I said to myself, perhaps he was not here when the president was delivering his state of the nation. He was not here. We don't need to talk about the past anymore. That is what the president called for, peace and reconciliation. We don't need to. We already know them. We already know them. My friend, my colleagues, honorable. We know the problems of this country. We know the problems of this country. We have to move on. We have to forge ahead. Think about tomorrow. Think about tomorrow. The president said, in this very world, in this parliament, where no party attain majority, we need to dialogue. For everything that will cause controversy in this way, for everything. That is what the president talks about. And I'm appealing to the leadership of the ruling party that, Mr. Leader, henceforth, please, I know you tried in the 5th Parliament, but in this 6th Parliament, henceforth, let us hold meetings. Call members of the opposition, chiefs, ruling party, whenever we have a topical issue to discuss in this way, let us hold meeting first and debate, disagree and agree before we come to the well. And that is, in that way, it will reduce tension. Tension. I say this, I know why I'm saying this. Because come September, when we come from recess, I know the leadership of this way will have the full complement of the APC. I assure you, Mr. Speaker. The full complement of the APC. You will have it in this way. And I hate to see a 6th Parliament that's engulfed with rancor again. I hate to see that. I don't want to see the Speaker to be guarded by police officers or to be walk out of this way. Like it happens in the past. It will never happen again in this 6th Parliament. And all of that depending to how we dialogue. Let us talk. Let us talk. And I have specific requests for the president. I've been doing that privately, and now I have to do it in front of the cameras for the people to know that some of us here have been playing a role for this country's progress. I want, Mr. President, in as much as you have talked about reconciliation, please, number one, help to remove the travel ban against APC people. Please, Mr. President. Because I say this. Most of them are facing commission of inquiry. They are in court. And their properties are in court. So which means, when one has his property in court, if he or she wants to travel out of this country, he must be able to go freely and come freely without going through the police for clearance again. Number two. Member of the House, I expect you to join His Excellency the President on this reconciliation. Okay? Number two, Mr. President. During elections, there are people who are now behind bars on election-related issues. Please, I want you, let us sit down and see how you can withdraw these matters from courts, from police stations. Mr. President, my colleagues over there talk about today that How are we going to talk about peace and reconciliation when, in fact, former presidents did not call to congratulate? I am not going to go to that direction. Because my colleagues don't know what is happening behind the scenes. That's why he said that. I will not. But all that I can say, that the president, Julius Maada Bio, he has put behind him all that has happened. He now wants to forge ahead. He now wants to forge ahead. And we must help him. We honorable members sitting here, we must help him. No. I tell you, not when you spend most of your time given to us by Mr. Speaker to contribute on his speech, picking the APC here and there. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, let me talk about the committee. On page 67, paragraph 67, the reforms in the Electoral Commission. The President is very clear. He made it very clear. The challenges they are faced. And most of those challenges, most of them are man-made. I'll tell you this. That is the reason why we have a section of the population today are not happy with the results of the election. A section. And I have to say this. Even though me standing here, a representative from Karele district, I have issues with the election results. But life has to move on. We now have a president. Life should move on. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to appeal to the president that inasmuch as he spoke about this committee having the vice president as chairman of this committee, yes, he's the president. He has made his own pronouncement. But I'm appealing to him. This is an appeal coming from the acting leader of the opposition. That in order for us to have peace and reconciliation, please, let us have an independent somebody to chair that committee. Mr. President, please. The reasons are very clear. Mr. Vice President, with all due respect, you are a member of the SLPP. And I'm saying, no member of any political party, either the APC or the SLPP, should be the chairman of that commission. I am making an appeal to the president. It's a direct appeal I'm making to the president. He has the right to go with the vice president. But this is an appeal I'm making to him. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, having said that, let me briefly talk about the initiative of Feed the Nation of the president, which takes us to agriculture. I am saying in this well that we must make use of the military and the police to take part in agriculture. In the past, you go to the streets of Freetown, you hardly find a military officer. You hardly. But you are younger then, you are younger child. I'm talking about us. Our days. Mr. Speaker, his days. You hardly see a military officer. You hardly see a military officer. Let them take to the farm. Let them own state farm. Let's just send them there. Let them work in the farm. And they even have a team, it's a professional team that do road maintenance in the military. What is happening with that? The engineer, what is happening with that? We are spending all this money with contractors when we have educated, qualified people here to do that job. Let us make use of that. If we do, honestly, Mr. Speaker, we'll be able to feed ourselves. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I am again appealing to my colleagues over there. Let us please remove the lenses of political parties. Let us, if we want this nation to succeed, let us remove the hats of political parties. And let us do the right thing. And I say again, thank you, Honorable Tawa. Thank you, Honorable Content, for your speech here this morning. It is very nationalistic and to the point. I thank you.
I thank the acting leader of the opposition. It is now the turn of the leader of government business to wrap up the debate. To take note of the fact that I want to rise by 5 o'clock.
Yeah, Mr. Leader, take a shot.
5 o'clock.
Mr. Speaker, you don't know me to wrap up debate for only 50 minutes. We talk about 2 hours, 3 hours.
Do like the president, please.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, thank you all for your numerous contributions. It has been a long 5 years. Long 5 years trying to see how best we can digest the speech of the president. We tried our best to be very nationalistic. Some of us, we are very passionate about it. Some of us, we are very futuristic. Some we are pessimistic. Thank you all for your numerous contributions. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to say special thanks to you to join the president in paragraph 4. To say thank you very much for what you have done, for he actually congratulated you, but because of your re-election. Mr. Speaker, I want to be reciprocal, using paragraph 4 to say His Excellency the President, Democrat of Sierra Leone, the man who transformed from military rule to a civilian rule, the man who said, I will bring food and come from the jungle and put it on the negotiating table. And I am yearning for peace. I will make a pathway for peace in this nation. That brought about the negotiation of peace at the Yamoussoukro Peace Accord. And what he did, he's a very conciliatory man. Thank you, Mr. President. Today we are enjoying democracy because he started it. So that's why we call you the father of democracy. I salute you. I thank you very much. I want to join my honorable colleague on the other side. As I said, I have tremendous respect for you. I count on you. Don't look at those who have their own agenda, but look at the spirit of the Constitution. Section 97, subsection B. You have not alienated yourself from your people. What you have done, you have aligned yourself with your people's aspiration. It's very clear in the Constitution. So I admire you. I met you a long time ago at the Stadium Hostels. Since then, we have been interacting. One thing, you hold me in high esteem. Somebody who can speak the truth. I can never be a hypocrite. You can always serve my conscience and God and give respect to people. Thank God I passed the hands of Mr. Speaker sitting here. He knows me very well. When he sees me in a desperate mood, he knows the language that he needs to speak to me. But I know when he's desperate too. So there is no time for hypocrisy in this house. But let me join you to re-echo the voice of President Bio. In 2022, paragraph 155. Mr. Speaker, can you allow me? I will wrap up in the next 5-10 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The next 5 minutes. My closing is about reconciliation. Mr. Speaker, before I read the words of President Bio in paragraph 155 of the 2022 presidential speech, allow me to leave, to cross this space, to shake the hands of my friend on the other side, to extend the sign of reconciliation in this way. With your permission, I will meet here. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I said I will wrap up. I have discussed, I have explained the language that we use in paragraph 7, the representation of women. I have quoted the Gender Empowerment Act. I have talked about the PPRC giving powers to women. I have talked about the Public Elections Act, making reference to section 58. How we are empowered in the 5th Parliament to help President Bio? To address the issue of gender parity, I don't want to go back. But in this statement of my closing remarks, I want to be very considerate. Paragraph 155. I will read, Mr. Speaker. You have not been paying attention. So if you have not been paying attention, it's not my cup of tea. It's because you have failed to listen to your leader when he's speaking. So it means you are a sinner.
And no one can pray for you.
Mr. Speaker, President Bio speech in the Chamber of Parliament building, Tower Hill, Freetown, on Tuesday, the 10th May 2022 at 9 o'clock in the morning, as AM. In conclusion, paragraph 155, page 36. You have heard a lot about my government accomplishments, but the job is far from over. Our challenges will never disappear, but together we can create new dreams and new hopes. Instead of new fears and new crises, we can step out of our past and become architects of the future. Together we can elevate our national conscience, improve the economic and physical health of our nation, and affirm the greatness of our nation. Mr. Speaker, in addition to this, let me take you to the current speech. I sign of reconciliation, paragraph 63, in the 2023 presidential, AP 62, in the current presidential speech, 6-2. Let us, that's page 11, let us never take the peace and stability we currently enjoy for granted. Look around us, both on our continent and worldwide, and we witness the devastating consequences that unfold when political actors fail to resolve their differences with maturity and respect for the law. Mr. Speaker, I have decided to be very conciliatory and use the words of President Bio, because we have had a lot of aspersion and innuendos after the elections. But in a time of peace, you should consolidate peace. Yes. We had war and we had for peace. If we have peace today, it's our business to consolidate peace. The big fight we are talking about, it can only become a dream and a reality to us when there's peace. It's only peace you can talk about development. In the first half of this year, we have spent only to enhance job creation and food security 18.5 million euros in the new currency. We can only continue to achieve if we yearn for peace and national reconciliation. I have used the words of President Bio so that we can look at ourselves. The man-best inspection is the conscience. And the best judgment you can get is a committee of conscience and God. And the only witness you have at night is the pillow. So let us look at ourselves, not even in a dream. The pillow can never speak to you, Mr. Speaker. But let me assure you that if you serve your conscience and you serve your God, you can only be the righteous man. You can stand upright and defend any issues in the interest of any nation that's surrounding you. We have heard so much from politicians. But questions we ask ourselves, are we sincere in what we say and are we sincere in what we do? The law is the law. Reconciliation doesn't mean you have to bastardize the rule of law. In fact, to reconcile and make it more solid, you have to do it the rule of law. Because as a nation, stand united. You should be a respecter of the rule of law. That makes you a great man in any nation. So that's where we are today. We have had an exchange from ruling government to opposition, from opposition to ruling government. I have served in all of this. I've been here, and now I'm here and here. No man stands alone. But to our friends, those who think political platforms are used to destroy the beauty of a nation and the good aspirations of free Sierra-Leoneans, I use the words of Obani Nesta OM. Politics about policies is not about making enemies. Let me send these words to you from Obani. He said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Yes. Mr. Speaker, let us depend on policies of making our nation great. And let us rise up to the occasion to change our nation. That's what President Bio said. Let us change the trajectory. We brought in a new direction. All of these human development, all of these human capital development, from the spirit of the Constitution, is about how do we reform ourselves, our internal structure and our out-being. Both how do we think and how do we react. So it is always good for us to say we politicians in the 80s, we politicians in the 70s, those years have gone. Mr. Speaker, you experienced it. So you are a living testament for a real reconciliation in Sierra Leone. I have listened to you make speeches since we started this debate. Calling on our colleagues. Talk to them. That you serve the interest of your nation. Our political parties are just a micro aspect of the macro features we have. It's only by good policies we can survive. When Nigerians are killed for rice, we are here having enough essential commodities because of good policy. Under the macroeconomic budgeting performance in 2020, I repeat, Mr. Speaker, under the macroeconomic budgeting performance in 2020, we introduced what we call QAP, Quick Action Economic Recovery Programs, to get essential commodities in the market.
So, policies are geared towards shaping the lives of your people. While people are struggling to get essential foods, we have them in abundance because of good planning and policies. So let me use this phrase again. You can fool people sometimes, but you cannot fool them all the time. That is what we are saying to people. So let me, Mr. Speaker, I've made all of the citations here. Consistency in policy drive. President Bill has very been consistent in fees alone. Look at all the speeches he has made in this house, in this chamber. Consistent with the food production, consistent with agricultural production, food security. I said, Mr. Speaker, you are not here talking about agri-ready facility, giving to people. In the interest of allocating 80.8 billion in the old currency, targeting 12,000 farmers in a smart price subsidy production, we are able to see what we can do. But all of this we are talking about, it can only be good for us if we are all together as Sierra Leoneans. If we stay together. But let us believe in institutions and let us respect our institutions. We can never bastardize them and say we can reconcile. If you bastardize them, you are also bastardizing the very root of reconciliation. There is no perfect structure we have, so there is no perfect law, so there is no perfect human being. The only perfect spirit we have or being we have is God. And God is a spiritual being. You can't see it, you can't even feel it, but you can worship God. So those who are Christians, you follow the footsteps of Prophet Muhammad. Peace and blessing be upon him. That is fact. In fact, when you're talking about education, the hadith in the Quran talks about education. Those who are Muslim, the only way we can transform our nation, Mr. Speaker, use the hadith to talk about education. It's by education you can talk about reconciliation. That is the backbone of our drive of reconciliation. Mr. Speaker, I am a Catholic Christian. For me, and a knight for that matter, I am a fervent and Catholic Christian. I don't compromise my faith for anything. Because I always stand tall to talk about this I want to talk about. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me entreat you with these words. That we as Christians, if you fail to educate a nation, you fail to educate your very self because you have failed to educate the people. And if you fail to drag your congregation with you, you have failed to pass the message of the God, the Father. You have failed Christ. We cannot allow to fail Christ. We take our congregation with us. So our political drive, for me, politicians will be based on political holiness. What is the political holiness? So think aloud, think with your people. You suffer with your people and find solution for them. I will go on and on. I will go on and on. I started following the speeches of President Bio, follow the spirit of the Constitution, enhancing and praising Honorable Mohamed Bangura as a very smart Sierra Leonean. He has made his way. He's a vibrant man. I remember on several occasions he was over 98.1 challenging people, talking about Bada Bill, because it's politics. It's about your interest at the moment. Today he has seized the interest of the nation first. That's why you are here. So I supported him by the spirit of Constitution, Section 97. I have also gone through talking about the spirit of the Quran and the Bible. That's how we talk about the Hadith in education. We talk about how we move with our congregation. I will now end. By reading the word I started, by reading the paragraph I started with. The first day when I opened the debate. That paragraph 63. I will end with paragraph 63. Mr. Speaker, it falls upon our shoulders to safeguard this democracy, to support our citizens as we prepare the economy further and to create safe and stable atmosphere where every Sierra Leonean can flourish, holding their heads high with pride on the global stage. Mr. Speaker, I end this one with the principles of liberty, with the principles of looking Sierra Leone, that we are so independent to be for ourselves, not to mortgage our country or ourselves to any nation, but to believe in the spirit of oneness. In 1961, we asked for freedom. And let me again, I wanted to wrap up, but this is very important, Mr. Speaker. And let me again, in taking up in 1961, we fought for our independence, and that's the time we had it. Not by violence, but using our conscience, using our might as human beings, as Sierra Leoneans. The light of the late Sir Albert Biti Magai. I will use the same paragraph 61 to remember Sierra Leoneans about civil liberty. That it is President Yo's speech. Paragraph 61. We have long since departed from the darkness of conflict and embraced the illuminating light of freedom and democratic principles. Let this parliament, that's why I said let me end. That's why I crossed halfway the maze and embraced my brother on the other side, because he has called for reconciliation. And President has called for reconciliation. But that doesn't mean we are going to compromise the principles of democracy, the principles of the rule of law. But we can still reconcile, because when we reconcile, the right is a right, and reconcile under the rule of law. Let this parliament, this beacon of hope, Mr. Speaker, continue to lead the way, exemplifying dedication to the noble task of the nation building. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, let me move. Mr. Speaker, I move SAFU, SO2. As I concluded, SAFU, SO2. Be it resolved that we, the members of Parliament, here assembled, wish to thank His Excellency the President for the address he so graciously delivered on the occasion of the state opening of the first session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone in the Chamber of Parliament on Thursday, the 3rd August 2023. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
I thank the leader of government business for his motion. Honorable members, the question is that the members of Parliament here assembled have resolved to thank His Excellency the President for the address he so graciously delivered on the occasion of the state opening of the first session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone in the Chamber of Parliament on Thursday, 3rd August 2023. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. And all those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Motion of thanks to His Excellency the President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, proposed by Honorable Matthew S. Newman, has been carried.
Honorable members, let me just consult with the leader for 1 second. members, as chairman of the committee of selection, I now wish
announcement of sessional select committees.
Honorable members, as chair of the selection committee of this 6th Parliament, and pursuant to subsection 1 of Section 93 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone 1991, Act number 6 of 1991, and SO 70, paragraphs 1A, B, and 13A of the Standing Orders of Parliament. I will now wish to present to you for adoption the membership of the standing committees provided for by that section of the Constitution. And with your indulgence, I will call on the honorable member from the Western area, the Honorable Ibrahim Tawa Conte, to do us the honor of reading out the membership of the respective committees that have been proposed for your consideration and approval. Over to you, Honorable Tawa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the list of sessional committee as per the positions led by your own self as follows. Business Committee, Chairman, Honorable Matthew Sanyuma. Deputy Chairman, Honorable Bashiru Siliki. The following honorables are members of the committee: Sir Emerson Lamina, member; Ibrahim Tawa Conte, member; Nene Lebi, member; Mohamed Bangoua, member. One other slot for the APC and PC by Sheba Beye, the third member. Paran Umar Tawali, Secretary and Clerk. Standing Order Committee, Chairman, Honorable Speaker Dr. Chino Abbas Bundu. Deputy Chairman, Honorable Segepo Solomon Thomas. The following honorables are members of the committee: Bashiru Siliki, member; Dixon Momo Ojas, member; Matthew Sanyuma, member. 2 slots for the APC, and PC Ali Balasama Mara, the third member. Committee on Governance, Chairman, APC; Deputy Chairman, APC. The following honorables are members of the committee: Bashiru Siliki, Matthew Sanyuma, Ibrahim Tawa Conte, Sir Emerson Lamina. 2 slots for the APC: PC Aja Fatmata Mima Kadri, member. Human Rights Committee, Chairman, APC; Deputy Chairman, APC. 4 other slots for the APC. The following honorables and members of the committee: Usmanu Ijalo, Indolo Moyo Gevao, Mohamed Kane, Nene Lebi, Ami Nyava Moriba, Guayama Mansaye, Mariama Munia Zombo, Ugiatu Tayawali Mustafa, Fatmata Seya Sukinia, PC Alhaji Masakama Kanamanka III. Legislative Committee: Honorable Abdul Sulaiman Mali Conte, Chairman. Honorable PC Sifuri Golden, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Charles Usman Abdullahi, Indolo Moyo Gevao, Ibrahim Tawa Conte, Alice Konya Stanley, Alpha Fodi Mali Chabi, Margaret Filma Johnson, Abdul Joseph Bash Kamara. 6 slots for the APC: Honorable PC Paul Ngeba Sakui, Gaba Sakui. Public Accounts Committee: Honorable Singapore Solomon Thomas, Chairman. Honorable PC Desmond Mahie Kabubai II, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Hawa Rosalind Siafa, Bashiru Siliki, Emilia Lolo Tongi, Dixon Omar Ojas, Jibila Sa Moidre, Francis Amara Kaisamba. 3 slots for the APC: PC Aja Fatmata Mima Kaji Kuruma. Committee on Finance: Honorable Francis Amara Kaisamba, Chairman. Honorable Mustafa Selu, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Ibrahim Tawa Conte, Mohamed Tarawali Fofana, Ishmael Sakoila, Rebecca Yei Kamara, Momo Bokri, Christopher Kekura Valley, Habib Kaifa Faba, Alfred Ayodele Thompson. 5 slots for the APC: PC Desmond Mahie Kabubai II. Committee on Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation: Honorable Mohamed Bangura, Chairman. Honorable Alfred Thompson, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Sia Mawa Abiyama Tomi, Abdul Karim Bangura, Austin Muda, Bernadette Wiata Songa, Emilia Lolotongi, Mohamed Kane, Mohamed Bilosho, Ambus Madalebi, Alice Konya Stanley. 4 other slots for the APC: PC Kade Kawala Paea II. Committee on Mines and Mineral Resources: Honorable Emerson Lamina, Chairman. Honorable Bintu Fatmata Bokai, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Mohamed Sidi Tunis, Basiru Siliki, Tamba Simeon Johnny, Musa Fofana, PC Alhaji Masakama Kanamanka III, Fatmata Seya Sukine, Edward George, Alfred Ayodele Thompson. 6 other slots for the APC. 5 other slots for the APC. Honorable PC Paul N. Sakui, member. Committee on Health: Honorable Bernadette Wiata Songa, Chairman. Honorable Rachel Mariatu Sise Pesima, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Dixon Momo Rojas, Yusuf Makri, Mariama Elagoba, Taba Simeon Johnny, Sati Banya, Umu Pai, Margaret Fema Johnson. 6 slots for the APC: PC Ali Balasama Maradi III. Committee on Planning and Economic Development. Chairman, APC. Deputy Chairman, APC. 4 other slots for the APC. Honorable Juliana Alimatu Fatoma. Honorable Musa Fofana. Honorable Ami Nyava Moriba. Honorable Adama Bangura. Honorable Awanatu Alice Kalom. Honorable Charles Usman Abdullahi. Honorable Alice Jebe Kumabe. Honorable Awa Muslim Siafa. Honorable Indolo Moiwo Kevao. PC by Farm Matters Bubu Ampak the 4th member. Committee on Technical and Higher Education. Honorable Joseph Williams Lamin, Chairman. Honorable Shaka Musa Sama, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Ibrahim Koroma, Sir Emerson Lamina, Musa Lahai, Francis Amara Kaisama, Alice Konya Sandi, Abdul Sulaiman Mari Conte, Captain Retired Sylvester A.M. Moima, 6 slots for the APC. PC Captain Retired Prince Lansana Bio. Committee on Basic and Secondary School Education. Honorable Alpha Fodi Manager, the Chairman. Honorable Awasi Afa, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Christopher Kekua Vani, Nene Levy, Konkofa Farah Mansaye, Beatrice Maya Kambai, Foyo Tony, Ibrahim Koroma, Omupai, 6 slots for the APC. PC Paul M. Squabex Sakui, member. Committee on Fisheries and Marine Resources. Honorable Nene Levy, Chairman. Honorable Emilia Lolo Togi, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Honorable Sia Mawa Abiyama Tomi, Sati Banya, Mariama Elagoba, Beatrice Maya Kambai, Quintin Salia Kone, Amara Momo Kabo, Wema Mansaye, Mohamed Bangura, 5 slots for the APC. PC Sheku Terenatongu Naya Kokuruba Fangu Lahai Marathon. Committee on Agriculture and Food Security. Honorable Ibrahim Tawa Conte, Chairman. Honorable Abdul Bash Kamara, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Sidi Mohamed Tunis, Jibrila Sam Moindre, Shiaka Santigi Ibrahim Kabo, Yusuf Makre, Mohamed Biloshaw, Mohamed Sharif Ramankoka, Abu Kemokai, 6 slots for the APC. PC Fode Stephen Kapra Faba. Committee on Trade and Industry. Honorable Veronica Kalisi, Chairman. Honorable Alice Kumabe, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Combat Queen, Adama Bangura, Usmanu Ijalo, Gugia Tutayawali Mustafa, Fala Kenewa Tembe, Beatrice Maya Kambai, Tamba Simeon Johnny, 6 slots for the APC and the PC of Bujam. Complete the membership. Committee on Defense. Honorable Alex Matia Rojas, Chairman. Honorable Captain Retired Sylvester A.M. Boyman, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Shaka Musa Sama, Abdul Sulaiman Mari Conte, Alpha Fodi Mari Chabi, Konkofa Farah Masaye, Juliana Alimatu Fatoma, Princess Kali Darami, Abdullahi Karim Kano, 6 slots for the APC. PC Captain Retired Prince Lansana Boima. Committee on Internal Affairs. Honorable Abu Kemokai, Chairman. Honorable Sati Banya, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Charles Usman Abdullahi, Momo Bokri, Kombakwi, Captain Retired Sylvester A.M. Boyman, Veronica Kalistise, Abdullahi Karim Kano, Musa Lahai, 6 plots for the APC, PC Captain Retired Prince National Boyman, FBO. Committee on Energy: Honorable Christopher Kekuba Vandi, Chairman. Honorable Charles Usman Abdullahi, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Sir Emerson Lamina, Amara Momokabo, Mase Gaite Auna, Princess Kabigarami, Ibrahim Kaba, Sir Kotu Momolu, the artist Yamide Langley, 6 plots for the APC, PC Aja Fatmata Mima Kaji. Committee on Communication, Innovation and Technology: Honorable Bosti Munda, Chairman. Honorable Mohamed Kane, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Ali Bayo, Bashiru Siriki, Ibrahim Koroma, Veronica Kadisisi, Sidi Mohamed Tunis, Jibrila Samoje, Ambus Madalebi, Mohamed Bambua, 5 slots for the APC, PC Baba Kahiye Kande III. Committee on Transport and Aviation: Honorable Ambus Madalebi, Chairman. Honorable Momo Bokri, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Musa Lahai, Mohamed Kane, Margaret Fema Johnson, Bostin Mura, Bashiru Siliki, Alex Matia Rogers, Dixon Momo Rogers, Mohamed Bambua, Alfred Adekunle Thompson. 4 other slots for the APC, PC by Sheba Ben Todd. Committee on Tourism and Culture: Honorable Mohamed Sharif Ramangoka, Chairman. Honorable Mase Gaite Auna, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Mohamed bin Osho, Ali Bayo, Ami Nyawa Moriba, Ibrahim Kaba, Idrissa Said Kamara, Beatrice Yamide Lange, Fatmata Seya Sokine. 6 slots for the APC, PC by Fatmata Bubu Ambak IV. Committee on Water Resources: Honorable Musa Lahai, Chairman. Honorable Falake Tembe, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Awanatu Alice Kalon, Ali Bayo, Ami Yaba Moiba, Abib Kaifa Faba, Kokofa Farah Masai, Juliana Alimatu Fatoma, Fatmata Seya Sokine. 6 slots for the APC, PC Sirifore Ono. Committee on Local Government and Community Affairs: Honorable Musa Fofana, Chairman. Honorable Edward George, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Sir Emerson Lamina, Sheikh Santigi Ibrahim Kago, Mustafa Selu, Captain Retired Sylvester A.M. Boyman, Indolo Moyo Gival, Idrissa Moiwa Dauda, Ahmed Joseph Kanu. 6 slots for the APC, PC Kande Baba Kahiye III. Committee on Employment and Social Security: Honorable Rebecca A. Kamara, Chairman. Honorable Ami Nyaba Moiba, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Abdullahi Karim Kanu, Abib Kaifa Faba, Amara Momokabo, Foyo Toli, Omupai, Musa Fofana, Emilia Lolo Togi. 6 slots for the APC, Honorable PC Kande Baba Kaye III. Committee on Lands, Housing and Country Planning: Committee on Lands, Housing and Country Planning: Honorable Quintin Salia Kone, Chairman. Honorable Benjamin Toure, Deputy Chairman. The B2 Fatmata Bokari, Alex Matia Roda, Yusuf Makre, Ibrahim Kaba, Marcel Gaiti Aruna, Ishmael Sankoina, Abdul Karim Bambua, 6 votes for the APC. PC by Farmatas Bubu Ambak Reform. Committee on Transparency and Accountability. Honorable Dixon Momo Ujas, Chairman. Honorable Margaret Fema Johnson, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Umupai, Abdul Karim Bambura, Idrissa Said Kamara, Usmanu Jano, Sheikh Santigi Ibrahim Kabo, Adama Bambura, Abdul Karim Bambura, 6 votes for the APC. PC by Shebura Beton. Committee on Social Welfare. Chairman, APC. Deputy Chairman, APC. 4 other slots for the APC. The following honorable members are members of the committee: Ishmael Sankoila, Joseph Williams Lamin, Alice Jebe Kumabe, Beatrice Yamini Langley, Sheikh Santigi Ibrahim Kago, Idrissa Moira Dauda, Ugiatu Taiwa Mustafa, Alimatu Fatoma, Princess Kanidayami, PC Kane Baba Kayeto. Committee on Works and Public Assets. Honorable Bashiru Siliki, Chairman. Honorable Abib Kaifa Faba, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Fala Ketengbe, Bugiatu Tawali Mustafa, Sir Emerson Labina, Ambus Madalebi, Boston Muda, Joseph Williams Nami, Ahmed Joseph Kano, 6 votes for the APC. PC by Shebra Beton. Committee on Youth Affairs. Chairman, APC. Deputy Chairman, APC. 4 other slots for the APC. The following honorables are members of the committee: Hawanatu Alice Kalon, Idrissa Said Kamara, Sia Mawa Abia Matomi, Alice Konya Sali, Sa Kotu Momodu, Idrissa Moyo Dauda, Komba Kui, Mohamed Tarawali Fufana, Edward George, PC Ali Balasa Mamara Liton. Committee on Gender and Children's Affairs. Chairman, APC. Deputy Chairman, APC. 4 other slots for the APC. The following honorables are members of the committee: Alice Jebe Kumabe, Musa Moigwa, Veronica Kalisisi, Ibrahim Tawa Conte, Ugiatu Tawali Mustafa, Alice Konya Standi, Maya Mamunia Zobo, Rachel Mayatu Sisi Pesima, Mohamed Tawali Fufana, PC Ali Balasama Barabitor. Committee on NASA and Public Investment. Honorable Mohamed Bilo Shaw, Chairman. Honorable Mayama Elaboba, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Tamba Simeon Johnny, Bernadette Wiyata Songa, Rachel Mariatu Sise Pesima, Hawa Roslin Siafa, Abu Joseph Bash Kamara, Sa Kotu Momodu, Mohamed Sharif Makoka. 6 slots for the APC: PC Sheku Terenato Guznyaya Kokoro Bafangula Haimarato. Committee on Administration and Political Affairs. Chairman, APC. Deputy Chairman, APC. 4 other slots for the APC. The following honorables are members of the committee: Princess Karina Ami, Joseph Williams Nami, Adama Bambura, Komba Kui, Ahmed Joseph Kano, Abu Sulaiman Mari Conte, Dixie Momo Rogers, Musa Moigwa, Wema Masai, PC Ali Balasama Maranitor. Committee on Environment and Climate Change. Honorable Yusuf Makri, Chairman. Honorable Mariam Munia Zombo, Deputy Chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Abu Kemokai, Beatrice Yamini Langley, Wema Mansahi, Rebecca E. Kamara, Habib Kaifa Faba, Mustafa Selu, Sa Kotu Mamodu. 6 slots for the APC. PC of Bujaun, member. Committee on Sports, Honorable Indolo Moyo Gevao, chairman. Honorable PC Paul M. Sakwi, deputy chairman. Honorable Ahmed Joseph Kanu, Honorable Abulai Kaim Kanu, Honorable Idrissa Sahib Kamara, Honorable Amara Momokago, Honorable Marcel Dainte Aruna, Honorable Foyo Toli, Honorable Musa Moiboa, Honorable Quintin Salia Kone, 6 slots for the APC, PC 4 days Stephen Capra Faba. Committee on Information and Civic Education, Chairman APC, Deputy Chairman APC, 4 other slots for the APC. The following honorables and members of the committee: Wema Mansae, Bashiru Siliki, Benjamin Touye, Tamba Simeon Johnny, Veronica Kadisise, Bintu Fatima Tabokai, Dixie Momo Rogers, Musa Lahai, Ibrahim Kaba, PCC Fore Bono Biton. Committee on Ethics and Privileges, Honorable Sheku Terenaton Gusnyaya Kokoro Bafu Fango Lahai Biton, chairman. Honorable PC Bashebra Bere Biton, deputy chairman. The following honorables are members of the committee: Dixie Momo Rogers, Christopher Ketua Valley, Sir Emma Sinamina, Veronica Kadisisi, Quintin Salia Kone, Abdul Joseph Williams Lamin, Alpha Fodi Madi Chabi, Mohamed Bangua, 5 slots for the APC, PC Stephanie Capra Faba. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I move that the sessional committees led be approved by the House.
I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, you have a motion for the House. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Membership for the respective sessional select committees, as announced by Honorable Ibrahim Tawakonte, have been approved.
Let me just add a caveat. The membership as read out is not immutable. If you feel that you have a capacity to serve in any committee for which you are well qualified and equipped, please come forward after the recess to let us know. Any announcements? Honorable members, honorable members, with that, the House will now stand adjourned to October 12th, Thursday, October 12th, at 10 a.m. prompt.
Until they get the alerts.